This is your USMNT Abroad weekend update from November 5th to November 7th of 2021. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo and welcome to Tactical TV and welcome to a channel favorite series, USMNT Abroad, where every Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend and every Friday we update you on how they did midweek. But this Friday, there's no USMNT Abroad series because we have the US men's national team camp, so club soccer won't be going on. With that said, if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget that we will be doing a full coverage of the US men's national team November camp where we face Mexico and Jamaica with live streams throughout the game, post-match videos, match previews. So expect the preview for the Mexico game coming out this week, probably by Wednesday. Along with that, we will be doing a full coverage of the U20 camp that we have for the United States men's national team as well, called the Revelations Cup, which we do play Brazil this Wednesday. We'll be doing a live stream for that as well. And expect this Tuesday, so tomorrow from when this video is released, expect a video breaking down the full U20 roster. With that said, don't forget to hit the like button before we start the video. Let's play the intro and let's start with the performance updates. Alright, so let's start with Christian Pulisic from Chelsea. On Saturday, Pulisic came off the bench for Chelsea at the final 6 minutes during their 1-1 disappointing home draw with Burnley. And this is something I want to talk about. Christian Pulisic played a little over 20 minutes total in the last 2 matches since he returned. For that, I saw many people asking for him to be a super sub against Mexico instead of starting. So this is my opinion on this. What I personally think is if the medical staff allows him to play more than 45 minutes, he should start and be subbed off in the second half accordingly. Now, if they allow less than 45 minutes, then yes, he would be a super sub and you put him in the second half if needed. Now, if he is healthy and clear to play more than 45 minutes, there's absolutely no reason to bench him in this match. The match against Mexico is crucial for World Cup qualifying, and we're also not in the most comfortable situation. I mean, we're qualifying, we're in second place, but a loss, 11 points after 7 games, that's not a good situation. So we do need at least a draw, but preferably a win. Plus, I know many say that you can just throw him at the end with tired legs, but nowadays fitness levels are as high as ever. Well, actually, they're at peak. And the intensity of the game does not go down in the final 30 minutes. So that doesn't change it for me. So to me, it's more of a medical staff decision. If they say he can go for more than 45 minutes, start him. If he can't, then yeah, super sub. Better to have Pulisic off the bench than to not have Pulisic at all. Now, Weston Mckennie from Juventus. On Saturday, Weston started and played a full 90 minutes for Juve during their 1-0 victory over Fiorentina. And yeah, Fiorentina is owned by a channel friend, a great friend, Rocco Commisso. Some of you might know him by now. Weston played as a central midfielder in a 4-4-2 formation in a more advanced role as a mezzala. He has been in amazing form the past 4 games. We have seen that in the past, however. So hopefully, now that he's in good form, as he ages, we start to see this in a more consistent basis. He was great once again this match against Fiorentina. For this match, he had 59 touches, 5 out of 6 successful dribbling attempts, won 11 out of 17 ground duels, 2 out of 3 aerial duels, had 5 tackles, and just a passing percentage that wasn't very good. It was 53%, and he did lose the ball quite a bit, 22, but his match was very good. Weston Mckennie is coming into camp in very good form, which is very much needed for us, to be fair, and Allegri after the match had some very strong compliments. He said Weston Mckennie is starting because he's the best player in the midfield right there. Yes, Allegri's words, not mine. Quick update on Gio Reyna, still injured. Apparently, it was never a muscle strain. Apparently, the injury affected his tendons and nerves. That's why it's taking much longer. And he might not be back in 2021. He might only return to play for Dortmund, not even the United States, for Dortmund in 2022, so maybe January. Let's just hope he recovers as soon as possible and is 100% healthy. Because we most certainly don't want Gio Reyna to go the same route as his dad, Claudio, and be injury prone throughout his career. He's too young for that. Needs to recover 100% to come back. Now, Serginho Dest, also injured, but he's expected to return right after international break. Obviously, he's not in the US men's national team roster. Now, let's talk about Tyler Adams and Jesse Marsch from RB Leipzig. On Saturday, Tyler Adams started and played a full 90 minutes for Leipzig during their 2-1 victory over Borussia Dortmund. It was a very, very good performance by Leipzig and a good performance by Tyler Adams himself. Jesse Marsch's pressing tactics definitely got the best out of Dortmund in this match and got them the win. For this match, Tyler Adams got a yellow card, had 69 touches, 84% passing accuracy, won 7 out of 12 ground duels, 2 out of 2 aerial duels, and committed 3 fouls and was fouled twice. Again, Tyler Adams is really not a flashy player. He did his job. Tactically, he was perfect or near perfect covering the ground. Did the simple passes. I thought he was good in this match. Leipzig was great. His pressing was great. That's all I had to say. And Leipzig has been going up. The trajectory has been going up. They have been recovering the Bundesliga with Jesse Marsch. And one thing I want to say about the Bundesliga, they usually have the best managed teams. They have very good managers in Germany. That's just one thing I want to point out. So Jesse Marsch succeeding there, if he does, and it looks like he's improving, it's a pretty big deal. Now we're going to go by positions and we're going to start the goalkeepers. And there's not that much to talk about the goalkeepers. Zach Steffen and Ethan Horvath were at the bench the full 90 minutes this weekend for their respective clubs, which is Manchester City with Steffen and Nottingham Forest for Ethan Horvath. Moving to the center backs, we're going to start with the #1 US men's national team roster snub, which is John Brooks from Wolfsburg. On Saturday, Brooks started and played a full 90 minutes for Wolfsburg during their 1-0 victory over Augsburg. Now, Brooks was very solid throughout the entire match. Wolfsburg played with a back three, and Brooks started as a left center back, and then eventually in the second half, he was moved to a central center back position in the back three formation. Now, 1 week ago, John Brooks was pretty good against Bayer Leverkusen. He was also pretty good midweek against RB Salzburg, and he was good again this weekend. So, the form part, I just don't buy it, why he was snubbed and kept out of the roster. I would have brought him regardless, but apparently the US men's national team has enough depth that we can just keep a Champions League starting center back out of the roster. And I understand his September camp wasn't that good, but he was pretty fine with the US men's national team prior to that. There's players that had many bad performances and they were still kept in the roster. So just a little small rant right there. So let's go to the next center back that I want to talk about here, and that's Chris Richards from Hoffenheim, which, by the way, we had a great interview with him here on the channel, so please check it out. On Saturday, Richards started off from the bench for Hoffenheim during their 2-0 loss to Bochum. Richards came into the game at the 64th minute playing as a right center back. He had a solid performance and really no noticeable mistakes throughout his limited minutes in this match. Now, Eric Palmer-Brown from Troyes at Ligue 1, the French league. On Friday, Eric Palmer-Brown started off the bench for Troyes during their 4-0 loss to Lens. Now, he came to the game at the 77th minute when the match was already 4-0. This transfer so far has not been very good for Palmer-Brown. Now, Matt Miazga from Deportivo Alaves. And this weekend, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes once again. So the first time this happened, I thought it was rotation. The second time, I was almost sure he got benched. And now that it happened again, yes, Matt Miazga has been benched at Deportivo Alaves. Now, Mark McKenzie from Genk. And yeah, you guessed it. He stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes for Genk again this weekend. To me, he was the best defender in MLS. I don't know what's going on to Mark McKenzie. Hopefully, he can start getting minutes for Genk, I guess. Last but not least, for the center back position, Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. On Sunday, CCV started and played a full 90 minutes for Celtic during their 4-2 victory over Dundee. And then we move on to the other setup position. Now we're going to talk about the fullbacks. And let's start with Anthony Robinson and Tim Ream from Fulham. On Saturday, Robinson and Ream started and both played a full 90 minutes for Fulham during their 1-0 win over Peterborough. Not much to talk about in this match. Another win for Fulham in the championship. They've been doing amazing there. Tim Ream got a yellow card, but there's not much more to talk about. They've been solid throughout the whole campaign so far. Now, Reggie Cannon from Boa Vista at the Portuguese League. On Friday, Reggie Cannon started and played 58 minutes for Boa Vista during their 5-2 loss to Famalicão. Now, Cannon did not have a good match, and he left at the 58th minute, not because he was subbed, but because he got a red card. Regardless, he was sent off in the match when the match was already 4-1 to Famalicão, so honestly, it didn't really affect the result that much. This season has been horrible for Reggie Cannon, to say the least, so far. Now, we're moving to Belgium, and let's talk about Sam Vines from Antwerp. On Sunday, Vines started and played a full 90 minutes for Antwerp during their 2-0 win over Anderlecht. Now, Antwerp is now in second place, only 4 points behind Union Saint, so we could have Vines fight for the Belgium League this season, which Antwerp did fight for the title last year, even though this league's a little different, and they do have a championship round after the league is done, with the top 4 clubs later on. Now, let's talk about Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach. And look, I got it right, because some people got angry when I used to call them Borussia, not Dortmund, which is a great name, by the way. On Friday, Joe Scally started and played a full 90 minutes for Borussia Mönchengladbach during their 1-1 win over Mainz. Now, Scally started off as a right wing-back, playing high up the field even during the build-up and providing width. Gladbach did not seem to use the right side very much throughout the first half or even throughout the match, so he wasn't very involved on offense, as I expected more at least, but he wasn't very involved. At least I don't remember him getting any crosses in. Towards the 79th minute, he was shifted to a left wing-back position, something we see almost every game for them. So overall, it was not a good game or a bad game. It was okay. It was average, but pretty good for an 18-year-old in Bundesliga that has been playing consistently and consistently well. The one thing that concerns me about Joe Scally is his ability in tight spaces. Usually when he's in tight space or crowded areas in the field, he's not the best at getting out of those situations as of now. It's something he can improve. Now let's talk about his stats in this match. So for this match, he had 61 touches, 65% passing accuracy, which is not the best, won 5 out of 9 ground duels, lost possession 20 times, which is also fairly high, and was fouled 3 times. Moving on, we're going to go now to DeAndre Yedlin from Galatasaray in Turkey. On Sunday, Yedlin started and played a full 90 minutes for Galatasaray during their 1-1 draw with Fatih for the Turkish League, or in the Turkish League. So you don't get confused. He's not fighting for the title. It was just in the Turkish League. All right, we're moving up in the field to the midfield, and if you haven't already, I have to remind you, it really helps the channel if you could kindly hit that like button right now. So let's start with Yunus Musah from Valencia. On Sunday, Yunus Musah started off on the bench and came in at the 65th minute for Valencia during their 3-3 draw with Atletico Madrid. When Musah came into the game, they had a 3-1 lead for Atletico Madrid, so Valencia was down 3-1. And then, with goals scored at the 92nd and 96th minute, Valencia was able to pull a late draw. For the second goal, Yunus Musah got a hockey assist, as he was the one that opened up the play for Gaia to hit the cross and assist Hugo Duro. He did get a late yellow card as he committed a foul after taking a pretty bad touch, but it's good to see him get minutes right before camp, and it was a pretty impressive comeback from Valencia, just to say the least. Now, Chris Durkin from STVV. On Saturday, Durkin started off on the bench for STVV during their 1-0 win over Mechelen at the Belgium League. Now, Durkin came into the game at the 89th minute. Essentially, he just didn't play. Now, my fellow Brazilian American, just like me, Johnny Cardoso from Internacional. On Saturday, Cardoso started off on the bench during the Grenal Derby at Brazil. The Grêmio Internacional, one of the biggest derbies in Brazil. Johnny came in the 95th minute and Internacional won 1-0. So again, 95th minute, just like I said for Chris Durkin, Johnny pretty much didn't play for this one. But this match had something interesting that I do have to mention. So after the match ended, the Internacional players brought in paper coffins, implying that they just buried Grêmio, that are very, very close to getting relegated in the Brazilian league. And of course, that started a huge field fight among the players. You know, classic common ball. I don't like fights or watching that, but it's something just drive. They brought coffins to the field. Now the Venezia boys, Tenor Tessman and Gianluca Busio. On Sunday, Busio started and went the full 90 minutes, while Tenor Tessman came in off the bench at the 77th minute for Venezia during their 3-2 victory over Roma. Now, Brian Reynolds for this one stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes as expected, and probably will happen always like that as long as they have Jose Mourinho or he is loaned out. Now, Tenor Tessman came in for Amaru, that was having a heck of a game himself, and in 13 minutes, Tenor Tessman had 11 touches, won 2 out of 5 ground duels, and had 2 clearances along with 1 tackle. He did okay, not horrible, not very good as well, to be honest. Now, Gianluca Busio had a very impressive game once again. He almost had 2 assists, one off a nice layoff and the other one off a corner kick he took. He was very good on the ball, tactically as well. Great long passes throughout the match. I am highly impressed, just to be fair. Now, don't forget, Jason Kreis could have brought Gianluca Busio to the Olympic qualifying, and he chose not to. So, as it used to be a channel tradition, make sure to hit the like button if you don't like Jason Kreis and you're still angry. And let's say thank you for the fact that he's not the U20 coach right now for the Revelations Cup that's going to start this week. Now, Busio had 58 touches in this match, 89% passing accuracy, 3 key passes, 2 big chances created, won 5 out of 7 ground duels, had 3 tackles, 1 interception, and 1 block shot. What a performance by Gianluca Busio once again. Okay, now we're going to go to Alan Soñora, the Argentine-American. This week, I have a lot to talk about because I actually watched his full game. This is the first time I actually watched his full game, paying attention to every detail that I could. On Saturday, Alan started and played 80 minutes for Independiente during their 3-0 win over Arsenal Sarandi. Now, this one, as I said, was the first time I fully watched Allan, and he looked pretty good. He got a goal, a very nice goal off a volley. Later on in the game, he got an assist as well. Now, on the defensive shape, he was moving more towards the right side and sometimes drifting central. Now, in possession, he was given a lot of freedom tactically to roam, create, and man, he runs their offense. Now, he looked more like a roaming 10 in my opinion. He's a very technical lefty attacking midfielder. Definitely a player to Greg to keep an eye on, and I would like to see him maybe in the December camp next month. Why not, right? Just get a look on him. Now, I'm also not a big fan of judging players based off stats without adding a lot of context to it. But this is one thing that's worth mentioning as well. Alan Soñora is the most accurate passer percentage-wise in the Argentine league when it comes to players with 1,000 minutes or more. Why is this impressive in my opinion? Adding just one little context to it. Well, he does take risky passes. He's not really a guy that just passes it sideways or backwards. He does pass it forward, so I think it's an impressive stat, and I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, Christian Capis and Emmanuel Sabi, because they faced each other this week. On Sunday, Capis came off the bench at the 77th minute for Brøndby, while Sabi started and played a full 90 minutes for Odense during the 2-1 victory of Brøndby over Odense in the Danish league. Now let's go to Brenden Aaronson from RB Salzburg. On Saturday, Brenden started and played a full 90 minutes for RB Salzburg during their 1-0 win over Austria Wien. Brenden had 47 touches in this match, 81% passing accuracy, had 2 out of 2 successful dribbling attempts, won 5 out of 8 ground duels, and had 3 clearances. Now, Julian Green and Tim Tillman from Fürth in the Bundesliga. On Sunday, Green started and played 73 minutes when he was subbed off by Tim Tillman himself when he came into the game during Fürth's 2-1 loss to Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, what I'm wondering here is, will Fürth win a game this season? That's something you can comment down below and comment your predictions. Right now, in 11 matches in Bundesliga, they have 1 draw and 10 losses. Look, this is just not a Bundesliga team at this point. Now, Luca de la Torre from Heracles in the Dutch league. On Friday, Luca de la Torre started and played a full 90 minutes for Heracles during their 1-0 loss to Twente, the team from Kick Period that's currently injured. During the match, de la Torre got a yellow card, had only 47 touches, 80% passing accuracy, had 1 out of 1 successful dribbling attempt, won 3 out of 9 ground duels, lost all of his 3 aerial duels, and also lost possession 13 times and was fouled once. Now, I did not watch this match, but I heard it was not one of Luca de la Torres' best performances. Now let's talk about Alex Mendes. On Saturday, Alex Mendes started and played 84 minutes for Vizela during their 1-1 draw with Estoril Praia in the Liga NOS, aka the Portuguese league. Now, Ian Harkes. On Saturday, Harkes started and played a full 90 minutes for Dundee United during their 5-2 loss to Hearts in the Scottish Premiership. Now, the last midfielder, then we're going to go to the forwards very soon, Dwayne Holmes from Huddersfield. On Saturday, Holmes started and played 45 minutes for Huddersfield during their 2-1 loss over Cardiff City. Holmes left the game due to an injury, but according to the club, it is not serious. We'll keep you all posted on the next episode of USMNT Abroad for sure. Okay, now we're reaching the forwards and we're getting close to the end of the video. Let's start with Timothy Weah from Lille. On Saturday, Weah started off on the bench and came in at the 75th minute for Lille during their 1-1 draw with Angers. This time, Weah played out wide and almost got an assist at the 95th minute, which could have been a game-winning goal. Weah hit a nice low cross from the left side of the field, even though he was mostly playing out wide right throughout the match when he came in. However, Yilmaz was not able to finish in the box. Now, Conrad de la Fuente from Olympique Marseille. On Sunday, Conrad came off the bench for Marseille at the 65th minute during their 0-0 draw with Metz. Now, in regards to the game, still the same. You get a lot of technique and talent with Conrad de la Fuente, ability to take defenders on one-on-one situations and to get out of tight spaces. But the final decision, that last moment, the finishing, the crossing, the long shots, it's just not there yet. He has always been a spark off the bench. When he improves the end product, he's going to be one heck of a player. Now, Matthew Hoppe from Mallorca, and there's not much to say here. The club stated, that Matthew Hoppe has a minor muscle injury. But there were pictures of him training all week. I don't know what to say about Hoppe anymore. It just seems like it wasn't a good transfer. We're going to keep updating you on it. Stay tuned. I guess that's all I can say. Stay tuned. Apparently he has a muscle injury even though he hasn't been playing. Maybe he got injured in practice. Who knows? His minutes have been horrible even when he's healthy. Now, Nicolas Giocchini from Montpellier at Ligue 1. On Sunday, Giocchini came off the bench at the 67th minute for Montpellier during their 1-0 win over Nice at Ligue 1. Now, Josh Sargent from Norwich. On Saturday, Sargent started off on the bench and came in at the 78th minute for Pukki at Norwich's 2-1 win over Brentford. A very important win, and well, it was their first win in the Premier League this season. Now, after the match, their manager, Farke, was sacked and is no longer in charge of Norwich. Odd, considering the team finally won. Daniel Farke leaves after more than 4 seasons in charge of the club, leading them back to the Premier League last season. And it was just a little odd to see him get fired after they finally won a game. Now, what does this mean for Josh Sargent? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see who takes charge, if they play him or not. We'll see. It could be good, could be bad. Only time will tell. Now, PFOC. On Saturday, PFOC started off on the bench for BSC Young Boys during their 1-1 draw with Grasshoppers. Yes, the name of the team they faced is Grasshoppers. PFOC came into the game at the 64th minute, and at the 93rd, he scored the game-tying goal off a tap-in. Still, his form has dropped a lot. Hopefully, he picks up some confidence and starts to pick up good form as he had earlier in the season. Okay, so Tyler Boyd. On Saturday, Tyler Boyd started and played 65 minutes for Rizespor during their 2-0 win over Alanyaspor for the Turkish League. Now, quick update on Haji Wright as well, because he's also playing in Turkey. He has a back injury and he will be out for at least 3 weeks. Last but not least, because the Tactical Democracy always reads the comment section. Yes, I always do. We can't reply to all of them, but me and Dustin do read all the comments. So now let's go through Christian Ramirez. On Saturday, Ramirez started and played a full 90 minutes for Aberdeen during their 2-0 loss to Motherwell in the Scottish Premiership. Okay, and fresh news right here. Apparently, Alex Mighten, the 19-year-old English-American that plays for Nottingham Forest, apparently he did commit to the US men's national team. It's not official yet, and it does come as a big surprise out of nowhere. But let's talk about it real quick. Yes, this is a big surprise, to be honest. He was supposed to be with the England U20s for this international break. However, he is ready to switch the US men's national team, allegedly, apparently, after having talks with Greg Berhalter. Now, if this is confirmed, let's wait until Greg or Mighten or maybe the US Soccer Federation say something about it. But if it's true, credit where it's due. And this is a big win for the program and a big win for Greg Berhalter, as Alex Mighten is an extremely talented winger. We're going to keep everyone updated on this. If it's confirmed very soon, man, it's going to be awesome. And Alex Mighten, if true, maybe we'll see him in future camps for the US men's national team in 2022. I don't think he'll be in the December camp because that would require Nottingham Forest releasing him, but maybe we'll see him in 2022. This is very big news. All right, guys, this does it for the updates of all the players. Before we go, I have to give a quick update that just came out after we were recording. Christian Pulisic, and this is just an update on him. Thomas Tuchel asked the US men's national team to be responsible, to not give him too many minutes this camp. I didn't really digest that yet. I didn't really think about it. I just don't really like what I heard, because that means Pulisic probably won't see many minutes, as Greg usually does what the clubs ask him. All right. But that does it for the US men's national team abroad episode. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. And man, this week's going to be busy. We got the U20 live streams. We have the US men's national team camp starting until 3 on Friday. With that said, thank you very much for watching, everyone. See you all. Until then, have a great day.